Good morning, Oasis Kids families. We are so glad you decided to join us today, and I hope you had fun last week. I know that I did because I got to celebrate my birthday. It was so much fun. We've had a lot of fun listening to and learning about the Bible, haven't we? Today we're going to hear about a wonderful story about a man named Joshua, and I can't wait to talk about it with you. Before we watch our story, will you worship with me? I love to listen to songs about God and to sing along. Do you have your listening ears ready? Then let's sing, and I'll meet you back here after our story. See you then!
God's story, Joshua and the Battle of Jericho. So part of God's story is about a guy named Joshua, and it goes like this. 40 years after God led his family out of Egypt and through the desert, he chose Joshua to lead them to an amazing home he had promised them called Canaan. Now, Canaan wasn't their home yet. Not really. See, people lived there already, in a big city called Jericho. They had heard how God parted the Red Sea and rained down food from heaven for his family. They had heard how God had led his family with a cloud during the day and a pillar of fire at night. And they realized that if God wanted his family to move into Canaan, he would do something remarkable to get them there. So they were ready for an epic fight. In the past, that had really scared God's family. But here's the thing. God knew Jericho looked scary for his family. So when it was time to go, he reminded Joshua that he was in control. God said, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." Joshua might have felt afraid, but he chose to be strong and courageous. Have you ever done something you know is right, even though you were scared? Anyway, for a while, God's family camped out, waiting to go in, wondering how to get through Jericho's walls. Then one night, Joshua looked up and saw a man standing in front of him. He was holding a sword and looked ready for battle, but Joshua didn't recognize him. He asked, "Are you on our side or our enemy's side?" The man said, "Neither. I'm on the Lord's side." At that moment, Joshua realized that it was God appearing as a soldier. He fell on his face and worshiped him. God was definitely with them and would lead the Israelites into Jericho. Well, after that, God told Joshua how to get through Jericho's walls. Here's what he told Joshua to do. March around the city once every day for 6 days. Have 7 priests get trumpets made out of ram's horns and carry them. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times. The priests should blow the trumpets during the march. When they blow a long blast, all the men should shout. Then the walls will fall. Joshua might have wondered how walking and yelling would make walls fall, but he didn't question God. He trusted God, so he obeyed. And guess what? At the last trumpet blast, the walls fell, just like God said they would. God promised not to leave his family, and he didn't. He helped them get through an impossible wall and move into their new and beautiful home. And through Joshua, God would continue to help his family. In fact, Joshua finally became so sure of God's power that he was able to help others to be strong and courageous, just like God had helped him. And that's the story of Joshua. But you want to know the best part? God appeared as a man to show Joshua that he would fight for his family and bring them safely to their new home. Joshua had nothing to fear. And later, Jesus came to earth as a man to fight for us by taking our punishment for sin so that one day we can live with him in a perfect new home, which means we have nothing to fear. Like Joshua, we can be strong and courageous. And that's a part of God's story.
Wow, did you think that was a great story? I know I did. Isn't it amazing that we have nothing to fear with God on our side because God always helps us overcome our fears? In fact, that's today's big idea. So let's say it together. God will help us overcome our fears. Whenever we are scared, we can know that God will help us overcome those fears. What a great job today, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to spend some time with us today and learning more about God's story. Mom or Dad, you got an email earlier this week with questions and activities to do together. If you missed the email, you can go to kidsloveoasis.com to find the download link. You can use these resources to keep this conversation going all week long. We can't wait to see you next Sunday. Have a great week!